big man in San Bruno. Rob, what's happening, Rob? You on the roast here on 95.7 The Game.
What's going on, fellas? First off, I want to say, man, I heard that Kyle Presser, and I'm disappointed in this guy, man. But I'm going to get past that. But I feel like the Niners need to...
Wait, hold on 1 second, Rob. What made you disappointed about the presser?
The fact what he said about Trey, I got a dual-threat quarterback, so I'm basically saying he got a dual-threat quarterback, he got hurt. And that's basically what he said. Like, no, you got a quarterback that can pass the ball, but for some reason you want to run this guy like he a fullback and get him hurt, but you protected Brock Purdy in that playoff game. You let him throw it, but you want to let Lance go up against them big old defensive linemen like he built. He built for it, but that's not a position. But I just want to say this. I feel like the Niners need to just let Lance develop, play him, quit trying to cheat the system. Look at Jalen Hurts last year. The media talking bad about him. His own fans talking bad about him. Look at him now. He's in the playoffs. You look the last 4 or 5 years in the Super Bowl. You need a quarterback to get the ball downfield or do a threat. Look at who's in the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. Like, stop trying to cheat the system. Trey can do it. I believe in him. Like,
I do too.
Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna do it for us. And one thing about Purdy was not getting away from that defensive line. Think about this for a second. If it was switched around, right, and we had Minshew coming in for the championship game in San Francisco, seriously, are y'all picking Minshew to beat the 49ers?
No.
Let's get real. Okay, then. So we need to be real about this and let Lance develop. He has all the physical tools. If C.J. Beathard and Mullis can run his offense, you telling me Lance can't do it?
Yeah, I think Lance could do it. Rob. I'm a Trey Lance believer. I want him to get his shot, and he's going to get his shot. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he will get an opportunity to take back over this football team. And look, we didn't see enough from him. Think about this, Alan. Let's just go down the rabbit hole with Trey Lance for a second. He played a full season of college football in 2019. Mm-hmm. They won an FCS national championship. Played one game in 2020 due to the COVID year. Started twice in 2021. Arizona when they were undefeated, the Houston, Texas game. He ran 16 times in the Arizona game. Got cracked at the goal line over and over and over. Did not look pretty. Houston looked a lot better after struggling in the first half. Looked really good in the second. This year, he started 2 games. That's 5 starts since 2019. 5 starts. There's so much he has to catch up with. The speed of the game, the offense, the rapport with Deebo Samuel, which he didn't get last offseason because Deebo was doing his old diva tactics and hanging out in Miami and working out on his own, where Trey Lance is throwing with Brandon Ayuk. I still believe in Trey Lance, but the pressure on him to develop after everybody was swept away by Brock Purdy. My girl has a Brock Purdy jersey right now. Guy played 8 games. She already has a Purdy jersey. Yeah. So now you got to deal with the fans that fell in love with Brock Purdy. And the minute Trey struggles, the hounds are going to be out.
Yeah.
It's going to be out. It's truth, Alan.
Well, I can't really blame him. Brock Purdy, he's got the story, and he was playing very well. Now, numbers-wise, if you look at him, they're not ridiculously different than Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's the way it looked. Everything looked smoother. Everything looked comfortable with Brock Purdy. Here's the thing about Trey Lance, and some people think that I'm a Trey Lance truther. I don't think I'm necessarily a Trey Lance truther. I just want him to get his shot, and I know he got injured this year, so he technically got it. But even myself, Bonte, I don't know where you're at with this, but even myself, this is it for Trey Lance. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just the nature of the beast. If you have to get it going, and I know he hasn't been able to develop because he's been injured, but that's just the way things go. Come this season, nobody's going to be thinking about those picks anymore. Mm-hmm. They got to deal with who is on the roster, and they got to do whatever they can do to get over the hump. So Trey Lance, this is it.
And let me ask you this. Can I see Trey Lance? I would like to see Trey Lance run the same playbook that Brock and Jimmy ran. Do you believe that was the same playbook?
No, absolutely not. Because
is it because Trey wasn't ready? Or was it because Shanahan thought he could use him as a runner, and that was an advantage for him?
I thought that the Brock Purdy playbook was a souped-up version of the Jimmy Garoppolo playbook. Same book, different chapters. Trey Lance had a completely different book. You got to go to a different Barnes & Noble to get the book that Trey Lance had. And maybe, look, if you want to believe in Kyle Shanahan in terms of he knows his guys, then maybe he doesn't think that Trey can make a lot of those plays. The quick throws, those were the issues. We know he can throw the long ball, but those plays that Brock, it's somewhere in between. Because those plays that Brock Purdy was making up the middle, Trey can make those throws. You know why I think Trey can make those throws? Because let's be honest, They were wide open.
Wide open.
Hey, diddle, Kittle up the middle. He was wide open.
Dude, that Seahawks game, Ayuk, Debo,
they're open.
Kittle were wide open.
Now, some of that is scheme, and some of that is Brock Purdy avoiding the pass rush. I'm not taking away from Brock Purdy. But Trey Lance, you got to imagine, can be just as slippery in the pocket or close to it. And if you give yourself that time, that's where Kyle Shanahan works. When things did get tight, when the Niners played better teams, Brock Purdy didn't look the same.
No, he didn't.
It's similar.
He struggled in 3 straight first halves.
They were wide, and that's not to take anything from Brock Purdy, because some of the reasons they were wide open is because he was able to not get sacked like maybe a Jimmy would. But he was wide. Let's not act like he was threading the needle. The needle that he threaded the most was the Brandon Ayuk play when they were already up big and Brandon Ayuk dropped it. That play was incredible.
It was incredible. Matter of fact, it was 4 straight first halves. The Washington game, Brock Purdy struggled in that first half. He struggled in the first half against Arizona. He struggled in the first half against Seattle. And when that Dallas Cowboys defense came to town, boy, did Shanahan get conservative with Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Let's not if that was Jimmy Garoppolo, take the name off, take Purdy's name off, and slap on Garoppolo, change the numbers. The conversation would be totally different about the way the quarterback looked in those first halves.
Right.
The last 4 first halves for Brock Purdy.
And that's why, people you either have to love something or hate something.
Right. I just think people hate Garoppolo.
Well, yeah, that's true, but in this society, you can't be in the middle. It has to be you love him or hate him, and everybody wanted to give Brock Purdy the gold jacket. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy isn't playing well. Look, I'm with the ride and dirty with Purdy too, but I don't have to give him a gold jacket based on what I've seen him do. I don't even have to give him QB1. When he comes back, him and Trey can battle it out and go from there. That's it.
I want people to chew on this during the break, and we want to take some calls here. Larry and Ariel, hang on tight. We got a break here for a second, but I want to play this cup going out to break. Here's what Shanahan said when he was asked about if there was any hesitation about his play calling with all those quarterbacks getting hurt.
When you ask that question, that way I understand, but I think if you looked at the injuries, common sense would answer that question. I mean, how have they gotten hurt? I mean, I'm sorry Josh got a concussion when he hit the ground. So that's the 4th one you're talking about. I'm sorry our quarterback got his elbow bent backwards on a normal drop back pass. I'm sorry on a drop back pass, someone rolled up on Jimmy's ankle. And then we have a dual threat quarterback who got hurt running the ball. So to throw all those 4 in that category, no quarterbacks got hurt when we had to hand it off the whole second half. So we can look into that.
Smug.
Wow.
How do people feel about that answer from Kyle Shanahan? By the way, we put a poll up yesterday on 95.7 The Game. Who should be the starting quarterback in Week 1? Trey Lance got 45% of the vote that he should be the starter Week 1. Brock Purdy, 38% of the vote that he should be the starter Week 1. A free agent, 10%. Jimmy Garoppolo, 6%.
Wow.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Got to see how many votes were there on that poll. We'll do that coming up. Larry, Ariel, hang on tight. The morning.